Scribble notes when I wrote these quotes. If I offend, pardon me, there's more of me to grow. Creative in my process, enjoy the show. The will is different when you recognize the different strokes. Different folks, same goals, we all want the most. So when we reach the top, we can enjoy the toast. The type of bread we get is fresh about the bakery. Told them don't play with me, with or without a degree. Don't question my intensity, bravery. Similar to agencies that want to see you fold. So just pray for me. Pray for me. Einstein with my energy.
Now I feel like it's coming because he definitely heard it. So for you, what has been your most enjoyable part of writing? Like what is the piece that you enjoy the most? Is it the characters? Is it creating the settings? Is it plotting the story out? What is the most enjoyable part for you?
I think it's the combination of the world building and the characters. I love building the worlds. I do enjoy building the environments and everywhere that they're going to be involved, but the characters take over then. Once you've got the setting, that the characters really come to the fore and you sort of fall in love with them and you want to put them through as many trials and tribulations as you can, even though you love them. So so yes, it's a compliment. I mean, I just love writing. I just write every day, you know. I just couldn't not write now, and I even get to points where I have to take a day off work because I have so many ideas in my head. I can't concentrate until I get it on paper. And I have to get it out of my head and out onto paper or onto my PC, just so I can then focus back in the real world, because it's all consuming sometimes. It's quite amazing. So yeah, and when you're really in the throes and in that zone, I mean, time just disappears and you just go, and it's an amazing feeling. It's unfortunate it's not all the time, but I must admit with Soul Breathers, which is the one that's in the anthology, the paranormal one, I had a couple of bare bone ideas and I signed up to do this anthology. So, and then it's an external deadline. It has to be edited, finished, polished, ready by the end of August. So I've got 2.5 months or so to finish it up, and it's currently with the copy editor. So it's been through alphas, it's been through the betas, and now it's at the copy editor. So we're almost there. But that's the first one I've written to an external deadline, because obviously all of the Sentinel series was my decisions and when I decided to publish them. So that's sort of been a new experience. But I wanted to get involved in an anthology, to get involved with other writers, so that we're working as a group. There's like 40 of us. There's 40 books in this box set, and you get it it's 99 cents. So you go get it on iBooks, Nook, Amazon, anywhere. You can just look for the Realm of Darkness anthology, and there are some amazing books in there. I've had the privilege of reading some of them. I've sort of beta read some of them for other authors, and it's that building those relationships with other authors that that then you can reciprocate and you'll have those relationships going forward, was one of the key pieces of doing an anthology. But it was also a new experience and gave me the chance to write a paranormal fantasy, which was really cool.
Yeah, it's always fun to dabble in different areas.
It is. And I've got a dystopian that I've written. It's sort of it's not a Hunger Games, because it's not, it's sort of that sort of world, but it's not a competition. But it gives you that sort of that vibe of a government that's brainwashing people, and controlling people, and it's how the hero realizes what's happened and then how they try and take that yoke off. So but again, I'm about 90% written. I had another character that popped up, as you said, that sort of twisted my timeline a bit, and I'm trying to figure out how to get that person where they need to be at the moment. So it's just that last bit that I've got to finish, and then that one's done as well. But of course I've got these books written, but then the expense comes in. You've then got to do the editing, and you've got to get the cover, and you've got to do all the rest of it, so although I have the books, it's they're just going to have to be scheduled until I can afford to do them.
Yeah, it is so fun to be able to write. I'm always coming up with stories. I have this notes app on my phone that has all of my story ideas and all the random things that come up, and it is so long and so many plots. I pitch ideas to my wife sometimes, where I'm like explaining to her what the story would be about and who the characters would be. And when I don't have answers, I'm like, I'll come with that later. Like, we'll figure that out. But
you just need the sounding board, don't you? Just to sort of solidify the ideas almost. It's just talking about it makes it real, more solid, So
yes. I created I have this new story I'm working on for next year, and it just, for me, it's so exciting because I have all of these skills and all these things I've learned through this first trilogy that I published.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you what has changed? How have you grown since writing the first book?
I think I've become a little bit more structured. Oh, excuse me. I did because when you first start writing, you don't know what you don't know. You're just writing, and it's not until you put it in front of that first editor that you realize, oh dear, I don't know anything about grammar, my sentence structures, oh gosh. And then you suddenly realize that there is a craft you need to learn. There is grammar, a basic sentence structure, there's the plot of a novel, there are the beats that you need to hit. So I instinctively wrote the Sentinel series and learned the technicalities afterwards. But because I read so much, and because I have read so many different books in different genres, because obviously although I write fantasy, there's an element of mystery, there's an element of romance, there's a thriller, you've got battles, it's not just fantasy, you're pulling in all of these different genre elements as well. And so even though you're writing that, I've lost my thread now. What was I saying? I sort of get sidetracked completely.
Evolving as a writer.
Yeah, and so you're learning all the time. Everything you do, you're learning something new. Each book taught me something else. And as I went from one book to the next, the first one was my most expensive because I invested in a development editor, a copy editor, a proofread. I did, because I didn't know how it all worked and what was involved. So I got other people doing it. And as I understood what was involved and what you had to do, so I could, do the formatting myself. I invested in vellum so I can do my interior formatting. I understood the different options for covers and what you're looking for. And your thumbnail needs to really pop so that people can see it on Amazon at the bottom and say, oh, that cover looks good. And just things like that you learn as you go. So I think every book you learn something new. And I think that's the fun of writing almost, is that you're never not learning. And that's why I sort of went off and did an anthology, because there was new things to learn. And I've just done my first audiobook. So Sentinels Awaken was released on audio in March. And again, that's a whole new experience. I did investigate narrating it myself because folks were saying, oh, I love your voice, you narrate it. And although that's nice and it would have been lovely to have done it, I didn't have the time.
Yeah.
You just don't have the time. Although I did invest in a course and got a microphone and stuff like that and had a go, I didn't have the time to record it in the first place because, the first book is 11 hours. That's finished, 11 and bits, just over 11 hours. But it's just the editing, all of the software you've got to figure out, being able to cut and replace words if you pronounced it wrong, and all of that. That's, all of that finishing work that I just didn't have time to do it. So I found an editor on or a narrator on ACX, and they did it for me, and he did an amazing job, and I love it. So, but I want him to do the next one, but I've had to push that out to the summer because I've got to save my pennies.
There's so much learning that comes in with writing, and it's every aspect from the actual writing itself and becoming a better author, just word choice and sentence structure and all of the little things, to publishing and actually understanding what to do. It's a huge process, and
there's a lot more to it.
It's a very commendable effort. When I first started writing, I was like, wow, I'm gonna give credit to every author I see, because this is not easy.
Not easy, no.
It's not easy at all.
And it takes a lot longer than you realize. Everything takes long. For those of you out there thinking of writing, just go write. It's an amazing experience. But if you're going to publish, which is a completely different thing, just because you're writing doesn't mean you have to publish. But if you decide to publish, don't put yourself under unnecessary pressure. Give yourself enough time, because the thing with if you're going to publish on Amazon, for example, once you put a date in there to publish it, they hold your toes to the fire. I think you can change it once, but if you miss it, they won't let you publish on Amazon again. So it's really important that you give yourself enough time to do all the pieces that you need and to build your marketing plan, because there's no point just publishing the book and nobody knows it's there. That's the challenge, isn't it?